Hi all, I'm going to make a freeform Tunisian leaf. So I have a 5.5 millimeter tulip, a Timo hook. I've got some 4-weight acrylic yarn. I'm going to make a little Tunisian leaf. So now when you're doing Tunisian, a lot of times they tell you to go on the back bump and pull up your loops. This one, I'm not doing that. I'm going on the side. So just go to the first one next to the one that your hook is in and pull up loops on the sides. Okay. Now, when you go back on the return pass, you just yarn over and pull up one loop. And then for the rest of it, you normally pull up 2 loops. But on this one, I'm going to pull back on 3 loops on the last. Just like that. And then you skip the first one that you would normally go into using the knit stitch. So the knit stitch has a construction of these legs, one in the front and one in the back. You go between them like that and pull up your loop and hold it on your hook. Just like that. You go in between. And the last one is usually you go over the last 2. You turn your work a little bit so you can see that. And you go over these 2. But I'm going to increase. So I yarn over and then I go through those last 2 strands. Then, as usual, yarn over, pull up 1. Yarn over and pull up 2 until you get to the last stitch with 3 on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through those 3. Skip the first stitch and go into the next one and find your legs right there and go between them, pull up and hold it on your hook. Yarn over to add a stitch and then go over the last 2. Yarn over and pull up 1 loop, yarn over and go through 2 loops until you have 3 on your hook. Then you go through those 3. So you're basically building an increase on this side and you're decreasing on this side. So that makes kind of like a heart-shaped leaf. And I'm going to do one more, and this time I'm not going to increase. I'm just going to decrease on this side and decrease on this side. So remember, you skip the first one and you go into the second stitch. And remember, this time I'm not going to increase. I'm not going to yarn over before I go into the last final stitch, which is that last one that you get 2 on your hook. And I'll just go through 1, go through 2, 2, and 3. So I think that's all I'm going to do for this side. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bind off. And what that means is I'm going into this stitch here, and then I pull through. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Pull through. Oh, it's almost like finishing a slip stitch. And then you're doing the final stitch with the 2 on the side, and you bind off. So now they're all slanting back. So it's kind of a very steep heart. It's, you know, it's got that long point. It's a cute heart. Okay, so I just slip stitched back to the front. So the first thing we do is we yarn over to increase on the forward pass. And then just pull up some yarn going down, and then we're at the end. We have the 2 strands on. So then instead of pulling up on one like this that we normally would do on our, we're going to pull back on 2. We're going to start with 2 and stick with 2 all the way across. It's a different way to decrease on the return pass. And again, increase and then do our knit stitch. So our increase is by doing a extra little yarn over before we do our knit stitch forward pass. And then this is the last knit stitch. And since we don't want to increase, we want to pull back, we do our yarn over right now and then pull through 2. And keep pulling through 2 until we get to there. So now we're decreasing by 1 stitch on this side, and we're increasing by 1 stitch on this side. You see it's already creating that slant. Yarn over. I think this will be the last one because we didn't do that many rows. And do your knit stitches going across. Now I've gotten to the point where I can kind of feel for the knit stitch where it's supposed to go. And you'll get to that point as well. This is a great little practice project. Okay, so I feel like I have increased enough on this side. I'm not going to do any more increases. And on the back, you can really see your rows. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're actually at the end, I think. You'll know it when you don't go through the stitch properly, because this one, that last one, I didn't actually go through the stitch. I went between the stitches. You see, there's the pants, the legs of the stitch. And then bind off. And this has a natural curl to it. So your leaf is going to curl. Okay, so this last... My video cut out, sorry. All I did was pull it through as a slip stitch and then knotted it. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe.